On the 18th of April 1943, the remains of a woman were discovered in the hollow bole of a wych elm tree in Hagley Wood, Worcestershire.
Who put Bella in the days we forget? Who put Bella in the things not named yet? Who put Bella where no one would see? Who put Bella in the wych elm tree?
Around Christmas time of the same year, graffiti began appearing on Hadley Monument and around the West Midlands area. It started with "Who put Lubella down the wych elm?", changing to "Hagley Woods Bella", finally settling on "Who put Bella in the wych elm?". All of the graffiti appeared to have been in the same hand. From then on, the unknown woman had a name, Bella. But who was Bella?
Incident report, dated 17th of July 1941, 11:38 p.m. On walking home, a local resident heard what he believed to be a woman's scream, sounding from nearby Hagley Wood. Action taken? None. How like a rock pool, the sky, where each night is a high tide swelling up to the mark, where one might see a crab, a scorpion, two fishes strung amongst stars. How like a quarry face, the hills, high ridgeline bristled with trees, clent, great jawbone of a whale, its 4 stones angled like teeth. How like a treasure trail, the mile, a hollow way, a highwayman's track, mapping close to the cover of trees, then swinging out and looping back. How like a chessboard, the wood, where trees stand like pieces in rows, where black of elm face white of birch, knights and queens now rooted in earth. How like a vixen's cry, the scream that dashed apart the night, this dream.
Could this have been how the Bella mystery all began? Some 18 months later, 4 young lads, whilst looking for birds' nests in Hagley Woods, came across an old wych elm tree. One of the lads was horrified to find a skeleton deep down in the hollow trunk. As they were on private land, they were trespassing, so they didn't tell anybody. Eventually, the youngest lad told his parents, and they in turn told the authorities. This sparked a full-scale search of the area.
Bluebells. First light steals across high treetops, and the forest wakes, not with a yawn or with song, but in an opening of eyes, in stillness, as the forest waits to thaw. Between the trees they call to each other, treading softly their eyes to the ground, home guardsmen combing even paths, and Boy Scouts kicking clumps of leaves. And all the while, the wych elm watches. Its stiff branches even dawn cannot cure. They mark it with a cross, but speak no rites, as bones resurface amongst the bluebells.
Slowly the evidence was gathered in. A skeleton, hair samples, taffeta, pieces of cloth, a green bottle that maybe once contained alcohol, a simple gold ring, and shoes in poor condition. Could these reveal the identity of who Bella really was?
Bella's shoes lead nowhere. Suppose it took a woman's eyes to read the nicks in the fabric, notches on the welt, and see more than just the passage of time in the base of rubber worn down to a shine. Hand the shoes to a nailing wench. She'll tell you that Bella was a pianist, Peddling the bellows down at the forge, her own shoes are creased just the same. Hand them to the lass who dollies the chain. She'll tell you how Bella used to dance, waltzing between furnace, anvil and shed. Her own shoes are worn and losing their tread. Hand the shoes to any of our women, and they will see in the scuffs at the heel, the morning rush at the rations counter, and hear the pacing down in the shelter, hear the wear from walking to work, hear a crease from kneeling at church, a broken back from being slipped on at night, the fabric discoloured from absence of light. Take the shoes again. Let them lead you back to a time before she died. Here, her livelihood. Here, her life.
So, what do we know? The pathologist, James Webster, determined that Bella had died approximately 18 months before she was found. She was about 35 years of age, about 5 foot tall, with mousy hair. Asphyxiation was logged as the probable cause of death. It was also noted that she had had at least one child. She had received dental work, but no dental records were found. Therefore, the question still remains. Who was Bella? Was she a barmaid?
We shall not fail or falter. We shall not weaken or tire.
Defaced beer mats were found at a public house called the Gypsy's Tent, from where a barmaid, Isabella, was reported missing.
Give us the tools, and we will finish the job.
If found, pass me on to the pretty barmaid who worked here yesterday. If found, leave me on the bar, somewhere obvious, somewhere I'll be seen. If found, give me to the pretty girl who whistles while she pulls the pints. If found, leave me in her coat pocket. Slip me in when she's not looking. If found, hand me to the man standing out in the porch. He'll know what it means. If found, leave me here. Use me to mop up your beer and let this ink fade.
That's one theory. Bella was just an innocent barmaid who went missing. Another theory was that she was a Romany gypsy.
Corner piece. A wagon's wheels meet the grooves left by tractors, cross the threshold, and wearied hooves slow to a stop. This place doesn't yet smell of home, of wood smoke, of horses and sweat. Bella tastes the air, touches the grass, ignores the magpies circling overhead. The elders look to her, and she nods. Saddleback Hill. From the fence, Bella swings herself up to his back, guides him with her heels, with a twist of her hips, turning eastwards and up to the top of the mound. His back slopes as they climb, so she leans forward, her swollen belly fitting to the curve of his spine, his coarse coat rubbing the inside of her thighs. She elfs her fingers in his mane, counts hoofbeats, then feels a beat against her own flanks. Only once, but it's enough. I'll call her Aishi, she thinks. Dog Kennel Meadow. Bella thrusts her arms in the water up to the elbow, scrubbing at muddied hems, the skirts and shorts of other women's children. Children who roll in dirt with mongrel dogs, who tug sticks from their jaws, the eldest who feed them scraps, and the youngest who chase after wagging tails in only their shirts. Upper Goodness. Sitting cross-legged on the grass, Bella weaves a basket of silver birch big enough to be a crib, twisting the supple bark into knotted twine and lining it with moss and lichen, cotton from the hem of her skirt. The elders watch her as she works, braiding bluebells along the rim. Dangerfield. Limping barefoot through the yew tree grove, she doesn't weep, but carries her basket of silver birch, filling it with dead leaves, with ferns and harebells. Below, the elders wet her baby's head, hailing their omens. They would not come to her until morning. She'd bury Aishi at the foot of the yew, and before they found her, Bella would be gone too.
Well, could Bella have been a gypsy? A more popular theory was that she was a German spy. Speculation linked Bella to a Gestapo agent, Joseph Jacobs, through a confiscated postcard. Joseph Jacobs was in fact the last man to be executed in the Tower of London. Date August 15th, 1941.
Spy. Postcard confiscated from suspected German spy Joseph Jacobs. Shots. We began with a waltz, do you remember? The little Café Dreher, the dance hall of the Bieber House. Men there called you divine, the angel of Hamburg, and I thought I would have to recite Hölderlin just to keep you in my arms. But then we danced to idle melodies, and with your chin on my shoulder, you told me of the letters you had received, of the new dress you had bought, the rising price of sugar. That is how I knew it was love. Later, when we danced, you would tell me of other things, how the swell of the orchestra sounded to your ears like the static hum of a wireless, how the tunes of the cabaret distorted to the coordinates and call signs you had committed to mind and taught your tongue in a Midlands lull. I grew scared of you then. We began with a waltz, but we ended in a blitz. Is it you I write to, Clara? Or is it CLARA?
Was this how Bella was recruited? Over the passage of time, MI5 files from the war period were declassified, which in turn led to speculation that Bella was part of a German spy ring. This consisted of a Dutch Nazi agent, Van der Alt, and his girlfriend, Clara Balla, who lived in Birmingham. Was this Bella? A local resident, Jack Mossop, an informant, was also linked to the same German spy ring.
What Jack sees is a love as foreign as the words he has heard them speak, neither of them kind. She holds his face as one might hold a hot coal, rocking it between her hands, knuckles cuffing about his ears, fingers tightening along his jaw. Jack remembers where he has seen her before, reading stars from a bar stool down at the tent. She would be gentler, holding a widow's hands, her words tender, as she promised every lover, every fallen son or brother, a bullet to the head. Van Rolt giving best, she looks to Jack instead, drapes her arms over the backrest, and teasing a pinch of his hairs from the grease, she smiles. There Jack spies a row of neatly crooked teeth, glimpses shadows fretting behind her eyes. Jack knows that it is not up to him to decide what happens here tonight, or how, or when. Yet still he wishes it did not have to be then. Her smile dashed across the rear-view mirror, Jack tries to cry out, but Van Rolt is quicker, one hand in her hair, another tight on her jaw, to heave her back when she lunges for the door. Jack has never heard life leave a person before, only what is said by those returned from war, of men gagging on air, tongues melting to gall. But for Clarabella it is not like that at all. Her only scream smothered by Van Rolt's coat, his grip wringing the breath from her throat. Her body sinks, like a bellow, now empty of air. Sighing, Van Rolt runs a hand through his hair and stoppers the neck of his bottle with care. Then, meeting his eye in the rearview mirror, Jack sees the same shadows he saw in Bella's, now flit and fright. Let's go, we're already late. And before Jack can reply, Van Rolt is smoothing and straightening his tie, then stepping out into a calm, unsuspecting night.
Could this be how Bella was murdered? Why Hagley Wood? Well, the wood was in an isolated area, close to the Clent Hills. Remember? The scream that dashed apart the night? Jack Mossop was tormented by horrific visions of Bella and suffered a nervous breakdown. He was institutionalised in 1941 and died later that year. A final review by the police in 1999 acknowledged that there may be some merit in a DNA investigation. Unfortunately, no one could ascertain the whereabouts of Bella's remains. Crucial police files and other evidence were also missing. In conclusion, was Bella a barmaid? Was Bella a gypsy? Was Bella a spy? Or was Bella all three? It is unlikely now that the mystery will ever be solved.
Unlikely wonders. Who put Bella in the motes of dust? Who put Bella in the flecks of rust? Who put Bella in the crooked hobnail? Who found Bella on the highwayman's trail? Who put Bella in the magpie's throat? Who put Bella in the vanner's coat? Who put Bella in the ragtree's blooms? Who saw Bella in the harvest moon? Who put Bella in the nailer's forge? Who put Bella in the miner's torch? Who put Bella in the ration of milk? Who caught Bella up in parachute silk? Who put Bella in the days we forget? Who put Bella in the things not named yet? Who put Bella where no one would see? Who put Bella in the wych elm tree?